So as soon as this is done, bum, bum, we'll get started. So again, thank you guys so much for being here so that I can do what I love most, which is share cool information with you guys, especially about money. I love talking about money. I love talking about money. So here's where we're going to start, you guys. First of all, if you know anything about the story about King Midas, you're like, why would I want the Midas touch? Right? I think sometimes we use that phrase, oh, I want the Midas touch. Everything I touch turns to gold. But if you remember the parable or the Greek mythological story, it actually is a king that it says from the very beginning, he's super nice and he's super great. And he loves three things. He loves his daughter, he loves his garden, and he loves gold. And one night he finds this, I forget what they're called, but it's half goat, half human. And he finds it and he brings it into the castle and he nurses it back to health. And then if he finds out that it belongs to a god, and I can't remember which god, but it belongs to a god. So he takes it back. He delivers, he has such a kind heart that he delivers this goat human thing back to the god personally. And then the god says, oh my gosh, this isn't just like my possession. This is my mentor. This is my guru, if you will. And I'm so grateful that you brought him back. Thank you for, nursing him back to health. Any wish, I will grant any wish. And the king goes, well, gosh, I have a great relationship with my daughter. So that's great. I love my garden. It's so beautiful. I don't want to do anything with that. Well, the other thing I love is gold. So how about whatever I touch turns to gold? And so the God is like, bing, okay, let it be so. And so then he comes back down and he pulls, the minute he gets home, he pulls out a chair and he touches it, and boom, it turns to gold. And then I think he touches like a table or whatever. And he's so excited until he goes to eat something. And then he's like, oh my gosh, it turned to gold. And he's like, if I can't eat, then I'm going to starve. And so he's all sad and he goes out and he sees his daughter in the garden and his daughter comes running towards him and jumps into his arms. And yep, you guessed it, turns to gold. And then he starts crying because now he doesn't have his daughter and his tears fall on his roses, turns to gold. And he's like, everything I love. And he's like, please God, like whatever the God is, not because I can't remember what that God's name was, but he's like, please take this away from me. And so then the God finds, mercy on him and says, okay, like, boom, it's gone. Everything's back to normal. His daughter's back. His roses are back. And then at the end, because I'm listening to the little parable thing, and it said, so don't be greedy because he learned to not be greedy, right? That's the actual story. And then we're like, ooh, Lori's going to teach us how to have the Midas touch. Whatever we touch turns to gold, right? Guys, don't worry. This is going to be so good. And I'm going to teach you how to have the Midas touch and not turn your roses or your daughter into gold. Okay. But first, I want to kind of preface, who is this for? Okay. There's lots of different kinds of teaching out there. The law of attraction, manifestation, whatever you focus on, shows up. There's other things like affirmations, right? There's other things like surrender into what you want. Sometimes those manifestation people will say things like, well, you have to know specifically and exactly what you want. And then other manifestation people will say, no, you just got to feel into it, right? There's all these different things out there, all these different teachings, right? So if you are somebody who has been learning a lot, has been out there dipping into different kinds of teachings, maybe you've done some things like applied the law of attraction and you're like, yes, it worked. And then all of a sudden it doesn't work, right? You're in the right class, because this is for people who have been seeking And then for some reason, everything they've done or everything they've tried just hasn't quite manifested that sustainable, that fullness inside themselves, right? So if that's you, you're in the right place. So good news. And the reason I kind of preface that is because I want you guys to understand, I'm going to say some things that maybe you haven't heard before. And you're like, well, that contradicts this. Well, that contradicts this. Well, in reality, what's really cool about what I teach and how I teach it, it actually brings it all under one roof and allows us to see the value and the truth in all of it and just apply it where it's best served, if you will. So here's where I want to get started with a little bit of how we're designed, how we're built, okay? We are 100% human and we are 100% spirit. One of the aspects of human is we always want more. It's never enough. We always want more, right? Just like the greedy King Midas always wanted more, or he wanted more. And that's why he was cursed with this touching everything turns to gold. When in reality, we're actually designed for more. Because if you think about it, just think about it for just a minute, logically, if it's enough, well, then what would motivate you to do anything? What would allow you to build a business, want more clients, have more money, right? If it was enough, if I said, oh, you have enough money, you'd go, well, wait a minute, but I want more because I want to go on vacation. Well, I want more because I want to put money in the bank for my kids' education. Well, I want more because I want to give more to a charity, right? If we recognize that our design is actually to desire more, it's not about being greedy. It's about that's our design. Yeah. Well, how do we get into trouble then? Why does it not feel good when we want more and we can't have more, or when people are really greedy? They genuinely go, well, I don't care what it takes. I'm just going to have more. Well, we have to bring in this other element of 100% spirit, right? If we're functioning from only the 100% human, that's the greed, because then it's never enough and there's never a satisfaction with what we have. So when we pull in this 100% spirit side, the polarity of wanting more is completion, right? So from the spirit side, we're capable of being content with what we have, right? The spirit says everything that you ever need is already inside of you, right? You guys have heard that. That's a teaching. Stop looking outside of you. All the answers are inside of you. Yeah, that is true. It has some truth in the fact that from the spirit side, everything that we ever need is inside of us, just like a seed, right? The seed that we plant in the ground already knows what it's going to grow into. It already knows that it's going to sprout roots. It's going to grow a trunk. It's going to sprout branches. It's going to grow leaves. It's going to create fruit. And then the fruit is going to what? Have seeds in it, right? And even this little seed already knows what it's going to become. Well, so do you, right? Now, here's where we get amiss. If I'm functioning too much on the spirit side and I go, oh, well, I don't really need money and I don't really want to, be materialistic and I can just be happy and content with where I'm at. It's no problem, right? Now we stay stagnant. Now we don't have any motivation or drive for us to do anything more. If, however, we're only on the human side, well, now it's never enough, it's never enough, it's never enough. And I kind of talk about it like a colander, right? Then whatever we get, but then it goes through this colander and always leaves us empty, right? And here's the magic, you guys. Here's the magic. It's taking both sides, 100% human that says there's always more, and 100% spirit that says, okay, I already have everything I need to do everything I came to the planet to do, right? And then we couple them together, we integrate the two, and then magic, right? Now, here's what I love about the story of Midas, right? So first of all, he's a king, okay? Because part of having the Midas touch is knowing your identity, knowing who you are. As a man thinketh in his heart, our subconscious beliefs, as a man thinketh, so he is, right? So if the story was about the pauper who had the Midas touch, then probably we could say, yeah, he didn't have enough and he was greedy and that's why he wanted more, right? Because he was a pauper. Okay, that would make sense that it would be greedy, but he's a king. He already said, I love these things and everything is so great. I mean, if I have to make a wish, let's make it this. Sure, I'll have more, because why wouldn't you? That's your design, right? And when we start from our identity as a king or queen, then guess what? Who rules the kingdom? Well, the king or the queen, which means guess what? You get to be the ruler of your kingdom. Guys, it is an abundant universe. It is not a zero-sum game, which means guess what? If it's mine to have here on this planet, nobody can take it away from me. And guess what? If I have a bazillion, gazillion, majillion dollars, I'm not taking anything from anyone else. Isn't this fascinatingly fantastic, right? I don't have to be afraid of having more because then somebody else will have less. It's not a pizza, right? It's an abundant universe that says there's an infinite field of possibilities and we all have our own. We all have our own kingdom. So what do you want? Well, go have more of whatever you want. And you can't take away from anyone else. Yeah. And so when we know our identity as the king or queen, when we know that it's our kingdom, right? Now we're positioned in this space to go, okay, what do I want more of? Oh, well, I'll have more of this and I'll have more of that and I'll have more of this. And what's really cool when we enter into this integration of the both, we recognize that everything is energy, right? Because the story, the way that it's told from the perspective of only the human side, right? And we know that. Why? Because they talked about the greed. Well, if it's greed, then we know it has to be only on the human side. It's not integrated, right? But if we look at it from an integrative perspective, now we go, okay, cool. Anything I touch turns to gold, which guess what that means? Well, I'm going to touch that relationship and it's going to turn to what is gold within the essence of relationship, right? It's not going to turn the relationship into physical gold. Gold becomes the awareness of value. It becomes the awareness of I can magnify the beauty, I can magnify the value because I know my identity, because I know my value. Now, whatever I touch, guess what? Turns to gold within the essence of that thing. So if that means I touch my business and it turns to gold, it doesn't mean it turns physically. It means energetically now, because I am the essence of the identity of value. I touch it, and guess what? Law of attraction, never not in action. And so now here goes my business, manifesting as gold. I touch this, I touch this, right? So now that we kind of know how it works, we kind of know what frame of reference we have to be in order for all of this to happen, if you will, recognizing that everything is energy. And if I'm energy and I am positioned in my identity, whatever I touch shifts to more, right? How do I translate that from the perspective of, okay, Lori, if all of that's true, if that is just the reality and the design, well, then how come I'm touching stuff and it's not turning to gold, right? I've thought the thoughts and I've done the things and I've made the vision boards and I've done all the things and it's not showing up. Guess what, guys? This is why I wanted to preface who this was for, right? Because we have to step into actually a whole new reality in order to understand why what I used to do, because my vision boards used to work, my affirmations used to work, I used to focus on something and I made all the lights green, and now I don't understand why I can't make anything green, let alone the lights, right? Why is that? Guys, because we're being invited into a greater reality of our identity as the thing that is the energy itself, right? And this is where, until we own our identity truly as the one that creates universes, then I'm not manifesting more of that thing. Okay, now I'm gonna play this out a little bit in the practicalness of this. So let's say, for example, I'm really good at computers, but somebody told me you can't make money playing on a computer. How about this? Okay, this is a good one. I love this one. Now, if you know me, you'll know I get lost in details. Like, I'm all about the story, I'm all about the point, but I get lost in the details. So if I give details behind this story and then you find out that I'm totally wrong, I'm already lying to you. Hey, I'm going to tell you ahead of time, I'm already lying to you. I don't remember all the details. Okay, so I have to kind of make stuff up. So remember, back in the 80s when Atari first came out, and then there was like Nintendo in the 90s or whatever, and parents would always say, you have to get a life and go to school. You can't make a living playing video games. Guys, do you know that some dude that plays Fortnite made like $1 million playing Fortnite? Do you know that you could actually do a YouTube channel where all you do is commentate yourself playing a game, and then people will pay to watch you because they want to get better at a game? Do you know, guys, do you know that you can make money playing video games these days? What? That's like, I was going to say like play on the computer, but really this is like the nth degree of something that, if you're anywhere around my age, your parents had to have told you, get off those video games, they warp your mind, right? And now guess what? This guy is a millionaire because he plays a video game, right? So the reason that I want to say that is because if he went, oh yeah, that person's probably right, but man, I feel so alive when I play video games. Right? But nope, I can't make a living. I can't XYZ, fill in the blank, right? I can't support a family. I can't buy a car. I can't pay rent. I can't buy a house if I play video games, right? So what I want you guys to really come back to is this is my kingdom. And if this is my kingdom and I'm the king, well, what's my genius, right? And what is that one thing that you do with so much ease, and somebody else goes, wow, you're amazing. And you're like, no, any idiot could do this. And then they go, oh, because I can't do that. Oh, well, it's no big deal. It's pretty easy, whatever. But you guys, the very thing that one makes you feel fully alive, and two comes with so much ease that you tell people a monkey could do this, that's probably the thing that builds your kingdom. That's probably the thing that will make you your millions or hundreds or 100,000s or whatever it is that is in your realm of your reality and what you desire here on this planet, right? The very thing that is your genius. But here's what we do. We minimize it. And we're taught, well, don't boast. Don't talk about how great you are. Don't elevate yourself above other people, right? And so we never actually own our genius. Now, we might even say things like, oh, I'm really good at that. Great. Do you own it like it's your genius? Can you stand in front of God and everyone and go, I'm freaking amazing at this? Guys, this is what fuels my soul. This makes me feel alive. I love when you guys show up because this is my genius. It comes really easy to me. There are so many things that in the beginning were just part of my awareness when I had to come into Jesus and met him face to face and had a radical transformation in my life and all these things. And all of a sudden I could see things and know things and do things that I couldn't do before. And I thought, well, that's just having a relationship with God. And I didn't know that people actually took classes to learn how to do these things, right? And so I'd be like, oh, it's no big deal. I don't understand what the big deal is. You have to go to a class to learn this, right? And I minimized that this was my genius. And so guess what? That was me not owning that this is my gift here on the planet. And because I minimized somebody else for not having it, it meant that I couldn't actually live in the genius of having it, of being it, right? And we can think something, but until we truly own it as our essence, I don't have the Midas touch, right? So it's not about, well, I'm really good at coaching, or wow, I'm really good at, teaching these principles, or wow, I'm really good at, getting these downloads from the universe. No, it's, wait a minute. This is my genius. I am a badass at doing XYZ, right? What comes naturally for you? Because you guys, that is the difference between truly owning and living in that place of having the Midas touch and having it be just a thought away, right? And that thought is the difference between, well, I'm good at this, or wow, well, yeah, I have these gifts. No, are you the gift, right? And when you begin to own that you are the gift, well, what does that mean? Well, this is my gift to the planet. This is my gift. This is what I came and got in a body to do, was this thing, right? This is how I show up and be love on the planet. And when I am in that alignment, when I am in that place that I get to feel fully alive, something I would do if I wasn't getting paid, something I would do all day long, something that I would do. And then I go, oh my gosh, it's been 5 hours. Holy cow. I teach this. This is hilarious, guys. Really. I teach this class on Saturdays. It's 5 hours. And we basically take a 15-minute break in between, only mostly because I have to go potty, because I tell everyone, I'm like, go to the bathroom, get something to eat, fill your plate, whatever. But it's 5 hours of solid. And every single person in the room, when it gets to 2 o'clock, they're like, oh, it's 2 o'clock already? Why? Because the energy that we're steeped in is just this yummy space of love and fulfillment and yummy, right? It's what I came to the planet to do. And when I'm in that, doesn't matter what I touch, it turns to gold. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean that I don't like still have to figure things out? No, I still have to figure things out. Does that mean I don't get confused about things? No, I still do. But usually if I'm confused about it, it's because I'm not allowing myself to own that aspect of my genius, right? I've swung back too much in my human that lives apart from the power of the spirit, right? But when we integrate the two, which is why it's so cool that when the two are integrated and I recognize myself as the essence of the thing that creates universes, then guess what? I become that energy. And then I go, well, what else do I want to become? Ooh, I want to become money. Yeah, I don't just want money. I want to become the essence of money, right? And now here it is. The law of attraction is never not in action, right? When I come from the place of the energy and the power that I'm owning that is me, now whatever I become in my essence based on my genius, everything I touch turns to gold, right? And so in this space, one of the things that we struggle with is, well, if I already have everything I need inside of me and the law of attraction is never not in action, well, then I've been doing this for 5 years, 10 years, whatever, 3 months, maybe if you're brand new, but you've been seeking for a while, but you're brand new to this place of the newness of this message, right? Why is it not showing up? And we get to stop and step back and realize, okay, this is somewhere that I'm not living in that I don't want to say that coming from the energy of the thing, right? I'm still looking for it over here, right? Which actually pushes it further away instead of going, no, this is the energy of it. And then we see it. And here's where time becomes somewhat of an illusion, right? Because then I'm doing the thing from the energy, and then all of a sudden, whoop, there it is. But if it's still over here and I'm over here, and it's been 5 years, it's been 10 years, it's been 3 months, it's been whatever, right? It's because it's still over there and it's not a part of you, right? Because as I'm living in my genius, I'm not lost in I don't have it, right? I'm not lost in I don't have that thing. It's kind of like my mom likes to shop all year long because she likes to buy special gifts for everybody. So if she finds a special gift, even in January, she buys it, right? Why? Because she knows Christmas is coming, right? She's not going, oh my gosh, Christmas is 12 months away. I really hope it's going to show up. Oh, I'm going to toil over holding this thing in storage, hoping that Christmas shows up. No, she buys it. She puts it in her little shelf where all the Christmas presents go. And then she waits for Christmas to show up. And she goes about life all along the way, right? If we're coming from that place of that knowing that whatever I focus on has to show up, now it's just a matter of time, right? Time doesn't become the thing that separates us. Time becomes the thing that we're doing while that thing is showing up, right? Which is why whatever I touch turns to gold, because I'm not hoping it turns to gold. I'm not hoping it shows up. It's inevitable. Well, based on what? Well, based on me knowing that I am the energy of whatever I choose, right? Coming from that place. And here's what I want to for you guys to really embody, I guess. I'll say, I want you guys to really embody this. And here's what I want you guys to embody. The fact that this is a practice, right? It's a practice. Whatever I'm telling you that maybe you've heard before, but you're like, oh, but I really get it this time, or wow, I really feel it this time, or whatever, right? We get these concepts, but recognizing that if there's always more, then we're always going to be practicing into it, right? So as I align with myself and my identity as the queen of this kingdom, right? Tomorrow, when I get triggered, I could revert back to, oh, well, I really hope this is going to show up. I really hope that, all my hard work, I really hope, or I can go, oh, okay, wait a minute. This is just a practice. I'm going to have to come back regularly and remember, that's right. That's right. I've been playing the pauper, but now I remember my identity is the queen of this kingdom, right? And then we'll see somebody, right? 3 days later, whatever, we'll see somebody and we'll be like, oh, they're a horrible, horrible person and they're getting all this money, right? And then, oh, wait a minute. I don't have less because they have more. This is my kingdom. And if I'm over here wasting my time looking at what they have, I have to be, and feeling yucky about it, I have to be focusing on what I don't have. Oh, wait a minute. If this is my kingdom, it doesn't matter what anyone else has. It only matters what I decide to touch within my kingdom as my identity of the queen, right? And so often we do the thing, and then we get tired of doing the thing, right? Well, if you're doing the thing and you got tired of doing the thing, it's a really good indicator you weren't integrated. Because if you were integrated and you were experiencing the fullness of you as the energy of that thing you want, then there is no, wow, I've been trying for 3 years. There's just a, oh, it's been 3 years. I've been having so much fun just living in the fullness of me, integrated, living in my genius, practicing every day, getting stronger and stronger, having more and more fun in my genius. I didn't even realize it. Or all of a sudden, here's this thing and you're like, oh my gosh, this like happened overnight. And somebody goes, no, you started this like 5 years ago. And you're like, really? It's been that long? Feels like it was overnight. Why? Well, because from this place of integration, you live in the contentment of, I'm already whole, I'm already healed, there's no problem here. And well, of course, there's always more. And of course, I'm always practicing. And of course, I'm always redirecting my focus. Why? Well, because I want more based on, not because I'm greedy, but because why not? This is my kingdom that I'm creating whatever I want. So why wouldn't I want more? Right? And guys, that's what's so cool about the Midas Touch. Again, I love talking about money and we like to talk about money because of course we want more money, but guess what? If you had $1 million, let me rephrase this. If I said I was going to give you $10 million, but you couldn't wake up tomorrow, would you want $10 million? Well, probably not. Why? Because you came here to live, right? But if we're too steeped in what we don't have, that it's not enough instead of there's always more, well, now I'm not really living fully alive anyway, which is why it's exhausting to show up and wake up every morning, right? So it's not just about more money. It's about more life, more everything, more relationship, more connection, more freedom, more business, not because it's just more business because I want a bigger business, but guess what? The bigger my business grows, the more people I get to bring into my business. And Wendy and I love that. We're constantly looking for who we get to bring into the business. Why? We'll find a job for you. Why? Because that's what we came to the planet to do, is to be in community, right? More community. And when I'm living from that place of aliveness, people can't throw money at me fast enough in whatever you do, right? In whatever it is that you do. And the universe knows what you need, right? And if the universe is benevolent, and I believe it is, then why wouldn't it give you what you needed? It always does, because guess what? You're still here, right? Some of us either rode in a car today or drove a car today, or at least ate food. Most of us live under a roof of some kind. Somehow you got that. In whatever facet you got it, right? That's ultimately the universe taking care of you somehow, right? Whether it be through a paycheck, whether it be through a spouse, whether it be through a parent, whether it be through a friend, whatever, right? It's still ultimately the universe taking care of you in whatever you need for you to walk the path and live the life that you came here to live. And everything is in perfect timing and perfect order. And everything you've done up to this point in time in your life has brought you right here. So all the other teachings, all the other things have brought you to a place where you can actually understand this whole integration thing, right? Because if you've always been over here on one side of the pendulum, you probably have to swing over to the other side of the pendulum and experience some life over there before you actually integrate, right? So if we recognize that we're always working to practice, right? We're always doing the thing to receive more, right? And ultimately, it's more of us, more of our identity, a greater knowing, a greater awareness of me as the creator. Yeah. So ultimately, again, you don't really want more out there. We think we do because that's what we've been told. But if you got the whole world and lost your soul, that's not really what you want. But when we recognize that the law of attraction is never not in action, and the greater I own my essence, the greater whatever I desire shows up around me, then we start focusing just on our kingdom, right? How do I continue to grow in my kingdom? Yeah, I love the story of the Midas touch, even though from the that only perspective, it's not good news, because then you're a greedy bastard who wants to make everything turn to gold. But if we see it from the fullness of integration, guess what? This is good news. I definitely want the Midas touch, right? When I keep everything in perspective. So I think we have a couple minutes for questions. If anybody wants to ask them here, or Wendy has a list. If this is fun for you and you want to play some more, reach out. Let me know. We have all kinds of programs. We have all kinds of classes that you can tap into and have more of this. Have more of this energy, have more of this wisdom, have more of this community. And it's always funner. I love the announcement lady from Greece, where she's like, okay, there's we're doing band performance or whatever. And she's like, because it's better to play with the group than it is to play with yourself. And sometimes it's fun to play with ourselves. And we also love the community. So if this was fun for you, reach out, come play with us. And if there's nobody who wants to ask a question here on the Zoom, we will leave the questions for later. Okay. I'm going to take that like no question.